going on, y'all? T Farrell here. In this video, I want to discuss a few of the OTC marketplace updates for AITX, which is Artificial Intelligence Technology Solutions. There's a couple updates that I felt was important for shareholders and investors to know, primarily because one definitely outlines how well AITX can perform for other companies that are looking for a great security option compared to the traditional guard on duty option. But first, we'll take a look at our one-day forecast. We see here that AITX was up by almost 1% at the close of Friday, and that they are currently trading for 12 cents a share. So we'll head over to the OTC market page and take a look at those news updates. And here we are at the OTC market page, looking at the latest news releases for AITX. And we'll take a look at the first one here. And this one is titled Robotic Assistant Devices Signs Lease for New Production Facility in Greater Detroit Area. You're welcome to read this entire article if you want to, but basically I felt the important parts were that RAD signed a 10-year lease agreement on a new facility in Detroit, Michigan to kind of help with their plans of expansion. And so they're basically going to be moving their manufacturing, assembling, testing, and shipping operations from Irvine, California to the Detroit area. And the important part of this is that this will take place the 1st of May and that there's 30,000 square feet. Plus, I really think that this shows initiative on the RAD team that they are really looking to expand and grow as future demands continue to pick up. So it's nice to see that a company has already had plans ahead for expansion and preparing for it. And this lease agreement helps show that AITX is taking their future growth serious. And I think this is important for shareholders and investors to be aware about. The second news article that I want to talk about I felt was really important and also where I want to spend most of the time on this video on. And so this one is titled Robotic Assistant Devices Published Case Study Regarding Security and Cost Savings at Client Citrus Construction. AITX today announced that its wholly owned subsidiary Robotic Assistant Devices has published a case study featuring RAD's client Citrus Construction, a subsidiary of the Richmond Group, the 7th largest rental apartment owner in the United States. This case study outlines how the deployment of RAD's ROSA has had a positive impact on the company's sites. Greg Van Hout, vice president of the Citrus Construction, states, "We're paying a fraction of what we were paying before. More importantly, we've seen a drop in crime." So already you kind of get a tone for how this news release is going to go, but we'll continue. Construction companies, property managers, and contractors are repeatedly plagued by the costly and dangerous instances of theft, vagrancy, and trash dumping on their active job sites and properties. RAD's ROSA is a breakthrough in autonomous security devices, complementing and at times outright replacing traditional security guards. ROSA is doing the same or better than having a security guard in place. And that was from the vice president again, Van Hout. This case study is absolute validation towards everything that we have built into the RAD ecosystem. The cost savings and enhanced security profile that Citrus Construction is experiencing with just a few ROSAs is what we envision for every business, large or small. And that was from the president and CEO, Reinharz. The Richmond Group has indicated that they plan to share these successful results with its 100+ managed residential properties and their construction projects. RAD is just scratching the surface of the massive United States construction market. There is so much potential in the construction services industry, and we expect that ROSA and the other RAD solutions will be warmly received as they were with the Citrus Construction. That's again from Reinharz. And then as an addition, just an interesting fact is that in 2020, new construction in the United States was valued at over $1.36 trillion. And so they do link down here the case study, which is accessible from the RAD's website. And so we're going to kind of review this case study, kind of pick it apart a little bit, and determine what are the big important takeaways from it. Now keep in mind, this is on the RAD's website, right? So needless to say, if this is conducted by the company that also provides a product, there may be some biased opinion towards it. But I think as we go through this case study, you'll kind of see that there are some instances where it's not necessarily biased and really makes you think that this really could be the future in terms of helping to protect businesses and companies from theft, vandalism, and all kinds of different criminal scenarios. And so we'll go ahead and get started with the case study. And so this one is titled Citrus Construction ROSA Outperforms Security Guards at Florida Construction Sites. Solve the challenges of theft, vagrancy, and dumping while saving money. Citrus Construction is one of Florida's leading licensed contractors specializing in multi-family housing developments. At any given time, it manages operations at several active building sites throughout the state. Citrus Construction is a subsidiary of the Richmond Group, which is the 7th largest rental apartment owner in the United States. The challenge: Citrus Construction needed an effective and affordable way to deter trespassing, reduce criminal activity, and respond to suspicious incidents on their construction sites during off hours. Greg Van Hout, Vice President of Citrus Construction, explains, "We've tried using security officers in the past, and it hasn't been very successful." So already the Vice President is telling us they've tried to use security officers, but it just wasn't very useful for them. Even when we'd have agents on site, there were still incidents of crime occurring on our properties. So even with an active person there, still having crime. Sometimes the officer may have even been involved. Now that's a slap in the face there, right? You have someone working at the site, supposed to be a security guard, but instead they're like the inside man to the job. So that's obviously a concern for construction companies, paying someone to basically cause incidents on their site. We needed to find a new solution based on today's technology. Citrus desired a flexible and scalable solution appropriate to deploy across its many job sites. While each construction project is unique in its physical design, the sites pose common logistical challenges for security technology deployment. And here are some of those common logistical challenges that they talk about in terms of security technology. So number one, construction equipment is always on the move. Security devices must have small footprint and be located out of harm's way. Number two, infrastructure is lacking. In most cases, a local wireless or wired network does not exist. Number three, vandals and criminals have become immune to the presence of common security cameras. Any solution must be highly visible, command authority, and have a deterrent effect. Now that's very true. You think about it, everyone nowadays, even in their own personal property or at some type of commercial building, has that common security camera. You know, you've all seen it, the one that sticks from the ceiling or from the roof and it just kind of pans around a little bit or just stays stationary. No one's really concerned about that because it doesn't do anything. I think a lot of criminals have gotten complacent with it. I think customers have gotten complacent with it and just don't really think about it. But that's where I think this makes a difference in terms of RADs. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later in this case study. And then number four, security technology must be smart enough to understand what it detects, accurately differentiating people and vehicles from their surroundings within a dynamic, constantly changing landscape. Citrus also sought a technology that could be easily transferred from site to site, as the company completed projects and initiated new ones. Therefore, fast and straightforward installation and configuration were non-negotiable. And so what's the solution? Citrus Construction deployed ROSA units, which stands for Responsive Observation Security Agents, manufactured by Robotic Assistant Devices. ROSA is a compact, self-contained security and communication solution that can be deployed in about 15 minutes. All it requires is power. That's all it requires is power. ROSA's AI-driven security systems include human and vehicle detection, license plate recognition, responsive digital signage, and audio messaging, and complete integration with RAD software suite, notification, and response library. Two-way communication is optimized for cellular, including live video from ROSA's dual high-resolution, full-color, always-on camera. So clearly off the bat, we've seen this picture 100 times, but this does not look like your standard security camera. So again, we'll find out a little bit later in this case study why that makes a difference. Citrus Construction has mounted ROSA units at entrances to their sites, the bottleneck points through which all people and traffic must pass to enter the construction zones. Each device is mounted on a pole or wall about 15 feet high and provides 180 degrees of coverage. The biggest thing with ROSA is that it has a presence, says Van Hout. When people initially see it, they don't know what it is. And so that probably freaks out anyone who first comes in contact with a device like this, especially if they're up to no good. They might have second thoughts about coming to steal from us or engaging in criminal behavior. Anyone entering the properties can't miss seeing ROSA's bright, scrolling LED text, neon ribbons, and 2 video cameras. Should they come within approximately 250 feet of the unit, Citrus's ROSAs have been set to automatically respond with flashing red lights and visual warning to leave immediately. If after a specified period, ROSA continues to detect a presence, the alert messaging intensifies. This can include a blaring siren, more threatening digital signage, and pre-recorded audio warnings, and the option for monitoring personnel to issue live instructions over ROSA's loudspeakers. So again, this is more advanced than your standard security camera stuck in the ceiling because it does messages, neon ribbons, has 2 cameras on it, has LED scrolling text, makes a siren noise, tells people that they better leave while they have the chance. This is nothing like your standard security camera where, you may not know that someone came and vandalized your property until a couple days later when you check the video. And then what good is that going to do? Not as much as what a ROSA could do now, especially since you can actually add customizable features to it, such as the blaring siren, the threatening digital sign, a pre-recorded audio warning, and also the option to use ROSA's loudspeakers. The criminal know that they are being watched and will be reported. So I really think this is a great deterrent and a great money saver for companies, especially like this construction company. Van Hout, along with other senior members of his team, receives an automated text notification when an event occurs. Using RAD's SOC dashboard, which is accessible through a mobile app or web browser, they can call up live video and determine a course of action. For Citrus, if ROSA fails to serve as a deterrent, the police are summoned. The fact that ROSA's notifications are being directed to Citrus management rather than to a guard service is a considerable shift from a traditional security operations paradigm. ROSA is, in effect, doing the job that an on-site guard would typically perform, mitigating crime by its presence and automated response protocol. Like a human guard, it only calls for backup when it is actually needed. But unlike a human officer, ROSA is not limited to an inflexible chain of command that requires it to contact its guard organization to request assistance. The role of reviewing periodic notifications and initiating responses can be handled by Van Hout and his colleagues rather than paying a patrol service to do so. And so here we see that there is an option where key management themselves can get this information and then act on it versus paying for a security detail to be on site 24/7 there to handle it. Now, you can obviously imagine if these are key executives, they probably don't want to see a report when crimes typically happen, right? Like in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And so they do discuss that a little bit later in this case study, but I do think that is kind of one thing to consider, is that if key management wanted to save some money and kind of take the matters into their own hands, they may also be on the hook for having to wake up and kind of look at the text messages and notifying the police or issuing a threatening message if need be. False alerts are infrequent, thanks to the accuracy of ROSA's cloud-based intelligence, thereby reducing the burden. So that's nice to read. And this is from Van Hout again, the vice president. The automated alerts are great. We get a text message whenever something happens. RAD also offers an optional, low-cost, turnkey monitoring service. Cameras on ROSA units and on other RAD security devices are observed 24/7 by security professionals trained to initiate responsive actions as appropriate. And so Van Hout does say, we plan to start using this service soon so that our team can stop picking up those warning notifications in the middle of the night. So right there, again, is why I kind of give some validity to this case study, because this is something that, maybe executive members of a certain corporation didn't think about. If they don't have security guards there, well, then who's going to answer the call in the middle of the night whenever something happens? The backup to that is AITX can also provide the 24/7 security professionals to take care of it. And I can only likely assume that that is much cheaper than having your own guard team at your site monitoring that all the time. And regardless of that, even if you did have a guard team, if you had the robotic assistant devices set up, manning hours should also be reduced because you won't need as many people. You may just need 1 or 2 to kind of watch the feed and make decisions such as calling police if needed. So this will actually help keep other security guard members who are still engaged with the company safer. So the important part, right? Evaluating the return on investment. ROSA has improved security at Citrus construction sites for a significantly lower out-of-pocket cost. The company contracts the use of its ROSA units via RAD's subscription service. The low hourly rate that Citrus pays per device is all inclusive. So this is from Van Hot again. We don't have to worry about anything. If somebody steals it or it stops working, it's covered. That's what we want, total peace of mind. The subscription service also includes help with installation, setup, and programming. We're moving these units from site to site, and we're getting better at doing it ourselves. They're pretty simple to install because ROSA communicates via cellular, very key. We never have to worry about internet connection again. So as earlier we saw, one of the issues with infrastructure was there was no wired or wireless connection, right? But cellular, which is very prominent in the United States, is the key to help get those images back and forth where they need to go and still maintain great security without having security guards present. In addition to nighttime hours, we used to spend a lot of money for 24-hour security on Sundays, Van Hot explains. Through RAD's subscription model, we're paying a fraction of what we were paying before. And so this is from a quote from an actual vice president of a corporation who is the 7th largest apartment builder in the United States. So clearly they know what it's like to do construction. They know what it's like to hire security guards. They know the cost that's there. And they are saying that it's a fraction of a cost of what they were paying before. So clearly RAD has made a difference. More importantly, we've seen a drop in crime. So not only a reduction in price, but a reduction in crime. ROSA is doing the same or better than having a security guard in place. Now that's saying a lot. The same or better than having a security guard in place. So just imagine when this case study does go out, as it was mentioned previously, to other construction companies, if they read that type of statement that it's doing the same or better than having a security guard in place, that kind of helps sweeten the deal that they're more likely to want to purchase or at least try out AITX's subscription to see if this will really work for them as well. What company doesn't want to save money and reduce crime? You know, I think all of them want to. When ROSA sees someone at night, its response is scary enough that it does a trick. And again, that helps differentiate this one from just your standard camera on a stick. And then the last paragraph, Citrus Construction's successful deployment of ROSA devices is just one real-world example of automated remote services at work. Automated remote services represent the digital transformation of security guard services that is currently underway, by which AI-driven technologies replace or supplement human patrols. The results include cost savings, greater efficiencies, and enhanced security. Applications extend not only to properties currently paying too much for guard services, but also to entities that have previously been unable to afford 24/7 security coverage. Citrus Construction's future plans speak to the company's appreciation of ROSA as a winning solution. Van Hot says, ultimately, we expect to have several more units in our inventory, enough to cover all of our properties. So clearly, this company is in love with RAD and they are looking to purchase more, which again is a great sentiment for AITX. And for a few more AITX updates, we're here at Stephen Reinharz's Twitter page just to kind of see what he has mentioned recently. So we see here that he's talking about the case study we just went over, getting engineers in. This one I thought was kind of interesting. They're looking at upgrading ROAMEO to contactless wireless fast charging. So I thought that was pretty cool and interesting. Night shift workers. The building we talked about. And then here he makes a statement that he's pretty sure there's going to be significant national coverage relative to the coverage that they're receiving now over the next several months. So 3 big moves, one of which is basically confirmed already. We'll assure that. In the meantime, units getting built, awesome, so fun. So again, he's giving us some teasers here that there's some big news along the pipeline for AITX. So again, I usually just show the Twitter page just for completeness sake, and that it is important again for companies that you're investing in to be actively getting the word out about what's going on, not just to current shareholders, but also to future investors, because this is what's important for a stock to continue maintaining, and as well it helps the company out, and so it should be like a win-win scenario. In any event, hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next time.